what's going on? My name is Erik Deutsch. This is the Yamaha YC-30 combo organ, one of my favorite keyboards that I own, and just thought I'd talk a little bit today about this keyboard and why it's so awesome. They started making these things in 1969 and they were available through most of the 70s, and these organs were superior organs. In my estimation, these are superior in their abilities to, say, a Farfisa or a Vox combo organ. Not to say that those two organs aren't excellent instruments and really, really cool keyboards, but the Yamaha and what it could do had a really wide range of possibilities. So I first got this keyboard in 1997 here in New York City. I bought one used, and amazingly enough, unlike most of analog vintage keyboards these days, I bought mine for a cheap price, around $300, and these things actually listed around $1,500 when they went on sale in the 70s. But I had one, and I used it a lot in the 90s with my band Fat Mama, and then one day it stopped working. I had an organ tech come over, and he said that a mouse had burrowed in through the quarter-inch hole and eaten through all the wires. So that was the end of that one. And fortunately, in 2007, Charlie Hunter found me another one at a pawn shop in New Jersey. So that's the one we have right here. And it's an amazing keyboard. So I want to get into it, just check out for a minute some of the really cool possibilities and characteristics of this fantastic instrument. So first, let's talk about the drawbar sections on this instrument. We have two main sections, 1 and 2 here. They're controlled with a crossfader called balance. So here's what number 1 sounds like, and they sound a little different. Typical drawbars, low to high, just like on a Hammond. Now, if we want to get into the second side, I'll go over to number 2 now. Number 2 can sound a little more like a synthesizer because of this bright module. Number 2 is a little clicky too. And then you can mix them together. Really nice sounds. You know, one thing about a combo organ is a lot of times it doesn't give you the feel of a Hammond organ, but this one can do that a little bit. Let's check it out. That's a little bit more like a Hammond organ than some combo organs will get. And if you put this thing through a Leslie with that sound, you can actually fool people and into thinking that this is a Hammond. Now, a nice feature about this organ is 2 other sections of tones, these 2, that are controlled down here to my left by the preset buttons. So each one of these has 2 sides as well. So there's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of drawbars, which is pretty wild. Here's what these sound like. They sound a little different. That's 2 variations for that one. And for number 2. So the same kind of technology, the fader, the crossfader between the 2 sides, really neat sounds. Back to number 1 over here, and let's check out some of these special effects that this keyboard has. There's also a bass section, and here there's controlled your drawbars for the bass. You can use bass pedals. There is a module that they made that connected pedals. But let's check out the bass for a second. And it has its own volume. Fat bass. Sometimes I feel like it's a little too small to really walk a lot of bass lines, but I've done a lot of gigs playing bass in this organ and it works. We have a great vibrato section. The touch vibrato actually is triggered by pressure and the regular vibrato. Really makes the whole thing come to life. Really nice vibrato. Let's look at some of these other effects, and I'll save the strip for last. So the marimba speed, we have a marimba effect here, which is really nice. Turn it on. And you get that kind of wah-wah tone. And we can select what kind. That puts it up an octave higher. And that makes it faster. A really nice effect of this keyboard. The marimba can really do a nice thing. A typical percussion. Just a percussion on the notes. We have some attack over here, some extra percussion, and a sustain. Kind of an interesting thing. If you hit this and use the 8-foot drawbar, think sustain. So it gives you a little bit of like a Casio tone, like sustain. The fuzz is amazing. Check it out. I've used it many, many times over the years on many different albums. Really great fuzz sound. Just a great fuzz. And finally, the portamento strip. This is an amazing thing. It has its own drawbar section over here. Let's check it out. So, when I first discovered this, I just thought it was amazing for sound effects. Typical sound effects like that. But what I realized later on is that the pitch actually matches up with the note here. So I could double melodies with my left hand. I'll show you what I mean. And so on. Pretty cool. You can do faster things on it. So, in all, that's the YC-30 in all its glory. It's a magical organ. I love this thing. I just think it has so much character. And as you see, I've got it going through my ECHOPLEX tape machine, which is another device that has a lot of character, and it just works really well with this, as this does with many analog keyboards. So this is the Maestro solid state ECHOPLEX, and just a fantastic machine. It basically does two things. It records everything that you play into it, and you can make echoes, and you can bend the echoes by moving the tape head, or it makes a long loop called the sound on sound, which was initially for kids to maybe play along on guitar, like play the blues and then jam over it with themselves. It was like for practicing. So I usually, mostly for the echo, and here's what it sounds like. So let me just play a little final demo of all this cool stuff. Let's see what we can do here.